Okay. So I guess I should welcome everybody to the Creatives Coffee Hour, hosted by me, Artemis North, and Shadows Cub. And welcome.
Howdy.
I see Ivan
Hello.
G. Hi, HG Lucky. Good to see you too. So, does anybody have anything they'd like to share right away?
I do not.
I do.
There we go.
There we
All
go.
right. Go for it, Ivan.
I finally designed my own papercraft. I think it looks nice.
This was a really neat post. I was really interested in the way that you worked with that software to create it. You want to tell us a bit about it?
Well, I used two softwares, one's for creating the designs and the other's for changing 3D images, Blender and Pipakura.
How long have you been? Sorry, go ahead.
It took me about a week to figure everything out.
Is that how long you've been using the software?
Blender, yes. The other one I've been using for years now.
That is really neat.
Holy man.
This was my last papercraft post. I'm planning on doing some other stuff, finishing my 2000 cranes. Pretty close though.
And those fireworks were really neat. Do you want to pop those up?
Oh, sure.
Now, for the skull, you said you had to use thicker paper, right?
Yeah, 200 grams per meter squared. Printer paper's 80.
Yeah.
See, I thought when I saw the dotted lines, I didn't realize that you had printed that out. I thought you had actually made little perforation holes for the dots.
No, it's all printed out.
That's neat. Aren't those cool, those fireworks?
They actually move in circles. You can like fidget with it, spin it.
Origami fidget spinner, that's awesome.
I'll just post a spoiler of my next project, almost finished.
Cool. So I've been doing some surfing around too. After Ivan shows us his spoiler, I have some things to share as well. So how many is that?
1007 or 800.
Wow. That's amazing. How much paper do you think you've used?
I don't want to think about it.
That is just amazing. I love all your colors.
Actually, I can calculate it. Just give me a sec.
17 or 1800 of those babies. Imagine how many bonsai trees got cut down to make all of those.
The magic number is 2000?
Yeah, 1000, but I'm making the second 1000.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Lucky 13 asked, what size paper is that?
It's very small. I'd say around 4 or 5 centimeters. So around 75 pages I'm seeing.
Wow.
A4.
So your colored paper, I forget, sorry, is that origami paper or is it just different colored craft paper that you're using?
It's just printer paper in color.
Nice.
I'm too poor for that, so.
I understand. Ivan G said that there are 17 or 1800 cranes in that image. Wow, that's awesome, Ivan. So how's school going? How have you been doing with your studies?
Me?
Yes, you. I don't want to put you on the spot. You can just say pass if you want.
Pass.
Okay, good enough. Okay, on that note, how about I share some stuff I've been finding? And let's see. Okay, this one, I looked at it and went, you're kidding me. Do you think is it a photo or is it a quilt?
Looks like a painting.
Yeah, or a painting.
Yeah, it's a quilt though.
This was made by Busy Bee, and unfortunately, she hasn't posted on her blog since 2014. So this is a really old picture. Can you imagine having the skill to do that?
No. I actually have a friend who can do that kind of quilting.
Really?
Yeah, but she's got a big, huge quilting machine. I mean, like a professional quilting machine.
Oh, okay. So more than likely,
She would have the same thing.
I'm guessing that too. Now this one here is by Merle Axelrad, and his gallery is right here. I think it's a man. Merle, I think, is a man's name, isn't it?
In my world, it is.
Okay, my world too. But oh my gosh, I can't draw that, let alone quilt it. Okay, what else did I? Oh yeah, here's something else really cool I found for this. They're crocheted. Can you believe that?
Holy man. My eye
I
goes
thought
blind.
those were flowers.
But the cool part is that she sells her, oh, this is the Ravelry link to buy the pattern. So basically, if you trust the pattern that she's written it correctly, for $5 you can buy the pattern and make them yourselves. That would take a long time, I would think.
I would literally go blind. Unless it's like a huge flower the size of my head.
It looks like it's done with crochet cotton.
I think so.
Yeah.
And probably a very small hook by the tightness of the stitches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd have to. There's no way my eyes would be able to do that.
I think well, I used to be able to, but now I think if I were to do it, I'd need one of those. Have you ever seen it's like Shadows have one. It's like a magnifying glass with a little base, and you lean it against your chest and let it hang down with the cord around your neck on top of what you're working on. I think I need one of those.
A granny glass.
Is that what they called them?
That's what I called it.
That works. Yeah, Shadows used to do petty point, which is super tiny stitching. And this picture here, I thought was really pretty, though I have to admit I'm kind of a pessimist when I'm looking at crafts to work on, because I look at this beautiful paperwork. She's made some flowers and put them on twigs. But then I look at it and I think, how do you clean that? Everything gathers dust. But it's so pretty. And then, of course, I have to share this because I was talking with my daughter about it the other day. For my grandson's, I think, 5th or 6th birthday, my daughter made this for him. It's just a simple little rocket pack. And it's just two pop bottles and a couple of straps that you can make out of anything, really, and tissue paper for the fire. Isn't that a great little kid's idea?
That is so cool. I bet you that little boy would love that more than if you'd have went out and bought him a $150 toy.
Well,
Oh,
that
he
his Aunt
loved
Megan
it.
made it.
Well, yeah, he does adore his Aunt Megan.
That's genius. That is really cute.
And really quite easy to make. And he wore it out. He loved it so much. And then I found I have a bunch of them. So if anybody wants to jump in and share something of theirs that they think of, go right ahead.
Is this clay or what?
No, believe it or not, these are made out of egg cartons. It's just 3 pieces, like 3 of the egg holders cut out and then painted and snipped to look like petals, and then 3 of them put together over a little twilight or over a little light.
That actually seems like a really doable, easy project for anyone.
I think so too, and it's so pretty. You could do anything with it.
Have you ever seen those? You know what I'm talking about when I say a K-cup?
No, what's that?
For the Keurig coffee makers, they have these coffee makers, and there's like a little cup. It's like a little plastic cup,
The Keurig
and then you
cups.
put it in the slot. Yeah, the Keurig. And then
Okay.
you push it down and it makes a coffee. Well, I saw a project somewhere where this person took a piece of, I don't think it was heavy board. It was like some kind of maybe press board or something. And they took LED lights like you plug in, like maybe the white LED lights, and put these K-cups on there and put these lights inside them and made like a lamp that you hang on the wall. And it's all made out of these K-cups, these Keurig little cups, plastic cups, and then the light shines through it and everything. I thought it was ingenious. I love repurposing stuff. You know, I'm a hoarder. I don't like to throw anything out.
Yeah, and millions
That's
of
a really
tree hugger.
landfills every year.
They do, and that's the worst of it. That's a great way to reuse them.
But I mean, it's really neat looking. Maybe I can find a link. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to go look.
Oh, why, thank you. Now, this one here is hard to see because I don't know why it came up so small, but this is taking newspapers, flyers, magazines, whatever, and you roll
I've
them
seen this.
into long. What were you going to say, Ivan?
I've seen this. A friend, my sister's husband's mother made these. Like she made the laundry bag thing, big one.
I think they're an awesome idea because we're always getting crap in the mail that we don't want to keep. And I know where Shadows lives, this doesn't happen, but here in London, even when we recycle, sometimes it ends up in the landfill. And these little baskets, these are like $20 or $30 at IKEA or HomeSense. And you could just put it together and paint it. I have actually my girlfriend down east makes these, and she says they're pretty sturdy.
Yeah, those are expensive baskets too. And with this, you could make it any size you wanted to.
Yeah, or you could make it even round if you wanted to. I thought that was really cool. Okay, I just have a couple more. This one here I thought was ingenious. I have a button collection that's multi-generational, and I think from now on I'm going to start collecting the zipper ends that come off of old clothes too. Look at this jewelry. I think it's really funky.
There's places where if you would be seen wearing that, they'd be like, "Where did you get that?"
Right? And yet it's made with junk around your house. Well, not really junk. I have to admit, I do cherish my button collection. And this one here that I'm about to share, I've actually made, and I should have went over to my girlfriend's and took a picture of it. Little Tilly had a mishap, her dog, with her her puppy bed. So we went on to Pinterest and thought, well, we must be able to make her one. And we found this. You take an old sweater and you just use whatever you've got around for padding and you sew it together and create a little dog bed.
That is really cute.
Isn't it? And I
Yeah,
thought, you could do so much with that. You could even sew stuff onto it, make it look really cool. But it looks like a big hug.
it does.
I finded it. I finded it. I finded it. You want to see it?
Sure. Oh, what was that? Those look like pop tabs, Ivan G. Someone made a chain out of pop tabs? Oh, that's really neat.
Yeah, those are pop tabs.
I've even seen people make chainmail out of pop tabs. Excuse me. Can you guys hear me scrolling?
No, you're quiet today.
Ha! I got it. All right. Oh, this is neat, Sarge.
That is nice. That's not the original one I saw, but while I was searching, I found this. But it's the same idea. They put it on a board, and then they clean up the cups and everything. And I don't know if that's painted or the color of the LEDs. Probably they painted them. But you could probably take like colored LED Christmas lights. I have like 4 sets. That's all I use. Mine are solar powered, so it has a little solar thing, and then I have one set that's really good. I mean, I put that outside around Christmas time and stuff, and I mean that thing stays on all night until the sun comes up. So yeah, but I'd imagine you could put like colored ones in there and just leave it white without painting it, and I would think maybe that color would come through.
That would make a neat housewarming gift for someone to do something. Maybe um, what's the word? The first letter of their name, or could do almost anything with that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you can modify it however you like to do it. It'd be really neat.
Oh, what have we got here? Lucky 13? Oh, your picture didn't come up. That's okay. Magic Myth Mouse. That's hard to say. Oh, there it goes. Are those air plants? Or are those painted? Oh, pictures out of a book. Oh, isn't that an interesting way to reuse them? That is really creative. Beautiful. Okay, what else did I find for pupils? Oh, I have to share this.
Yeah, I'm looking for. Oh, here's a picture of that machine. Hold on.
Oh, good.
I've been looking.
This is an embroidery, a piece of embroidery that's been done using some 3D methods. I think it's just beautiful. And this is by, if you like this person's work, here is their website where they have lots more that they've done. Absolutely beautiful. The Eye Candy blog. I like the name of it. And then I have to share this because I found out something really interesting about pincushions. And maybe you guys already know this, but when you make pincushions, and I don't know, we've all probably made them whether in school or because we just wanted to, they're not just to hold your needles, they're actually supposed to be stuffed with steel wool, and they sharpen your needles.
Yes.
See, I never knew that. All these years goofing around with this stuff, and I didn't know that. Ah, good, you learned something new today. Okay, and I have one more that I have to show because this one totally excited me. If I could quilt, this is what I would make. But actually, it says it's quilted. But when I look up around the edge, doesn't that look crochet to you guys?
It could be. It may have done a crocheted edge on it.
That could be. But
Hold on, let me look.
I love the way that they picked up the cloud reflecting in the water. That was really good.
It looks like both to me, to be honest.
It
Yeah,
could
me
be.
too.
Oh, maybe it's mixed media, even neater. So, is there anything you guys want to talk about? Any issues, questions, thoughts, ideas?
I'm just gonna show you that machine thing.
Oh, cool. Oh, wow. That would make short work. So this must be, I have a couple of friends that are quilters, and I was listening to them the other day at Knit Group in between debates, heated debates.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun.
And they were saying that they had their quilt tops done and they needed to take them to this person to pay to have them bound and quilted. So I wonder if that's the machine that they're talking about.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah. Because that's where you can do the free form fancy, because she's more into doing the scroll work with with the needles on the machine.
Oh, yeah. Look at that last picture. That's really nice. She must be very experienced at it.
She's one of those people that she decides to do something crafty and then she goes all the way. So she also knits and drives at the same time and then yells at people that are on their cell phones and drives at the same time. So,
Well, knitting is much more productive.
Well, I'm trying to picture, because it takes two hands. I'm trying to picture how you knit and drive. Does she drive with her elbows?
Well, I think you drive with like the back of your hands.
Yeah.
Use your knees.
Oh, okay.
Well, that too, yeah.
No, that's not dangerous at all.
No, and I used to be able to knit without looking at what I was knitting, but I would never have driven. Yeah.
I know what you mean about going all in. My friend Jackie does that too. She has two beautiful sewing machines. One's computerized and a serger. And she has, I think, almost every really good quality set of crochet hooks and knitting needles I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, I have a machine, a sewing machine, and it was not the high quality. I mean, it was just a machine, not like this. But yeah, I mean, those quilting machines are just a regular one are like thousands of dollars. It's ridiculous.
Sarge, of course you can share your latest creation. We'd love to see it.
Well, this is, I don't know, you said things that people create. I know this is predominantly fiber, and I do a lot of crocheting. I just finished a Tunisian crochet washcloth. I'm getting ready to start a couple more. Plus, I'm working on kiput for NCAP Barbie's husband, Ben. Kiput, Yarmulke, you probably know it better by Yarmulke. I should have said Yarmulke. You know, the little funny hat like the Pope wears and religious Jewish people, and me on Sabbath, as Noah Hides do. So, yeah, don't wear one all the time. I don't want to get a bald spot. But anyway, no, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's actually a solar panel. My husband says his is a solar panel.
Oh, your husband? Where's Kipot?
No, he has a bald spot.
Oh. I was always told if you wear a hat, it makes your hair fall out. Well, the same guy that told me that, my foster brother, hell, he's got a big old bald spot on his head and never wore a hat. I've always worn hats. I've already saw him go around without a hat on. And I'm not bald. But anyway, I digress and go ADHD. No, this is my video I was telling you all about. So I just want to self-aggrandize a little bit. And it is creative because, well, you looked at it a little bit. You saw my little radio I made with a little steam indicator there.
It's very
and my
creative.
mug. So I'm going to pop that in here just for the heck of it. And then I'm going to show you something else that's kind of creative. But not
Okay.
new. But you'll like it.
Hi, Andy. Good to see you.
Hi, Andy.
Maybe she's waking up. What time is it in Australia?
Isn't she in New Zealand?
Oh, I'm going to get my ass kicked. Yes, I'm sorry, Andy. New Zealand. HG Lucky says, good news for men who rely on caps to cover their shiny crowns. Shiny crowns. They're not causing any harm. Dirty hats can, however, lead to a scalp infection, which in turn accelerates hair loss. So either make sure yours is clean or rotate frequently. Your shiny crown. I'm going to have to tell my husband that one.
I've met some guys wearing ball caps that I wish they would rotate frequently.
While they're sitting on the... Oh, sorry. Oh, that's kind of interesting. It makes sense, though. You don't want to wear a dirty hat around. Mind you, though, I don't know. I'm probably going to insult somebody here, but dreadnoughts. I remember coming home from work and walking into the living room, and Desi Q, she was 14, 15 at the time, had decided to get the wax and try to turn her hair into dreadnoughts. It's an interesting process, but they always just look like a dirty mess to me.
Yeah, they make me want to itch my head.
Yeah, me too. Though some of them look really interesting. Unfortunately, Dez's never panned out the way that she wanted them to. That's it. Dreadlocks. Thank you.
Now, why didn't my picture show up? What's wrong with it?
Well, at least you didn't get the poop.
We'll check it out.
Huh.
I tried again. Oh, there it is. There it
There
is.
you go.
Well, at least the picture to the video is I'm crocheting. That was the washcloth I was making.
Well, that's true. And it was a very creative video. I enjoyed the way you took the picture of the radio and put the little steam indicator and the little round where the speaker would be. Picture of you. That's where you were talking. That was kind of neat.
And music videos. It was like MTV by Sardan.
It was
I'm going
pretty.
to have to watch that.
So, Snook.
Well, since you're in here, Snook,
Oh.
and I'm going to make a post about it, one of the songs, what is that? One of the songs,
I
that
was
is crazy
looking
looking.
at my friend's page.
I have to have one. Where can I get it, Snook?
Hold on. I'll get the link. Hold on.
I got to have it. I got to have it.
Usually yarn bowls are really decorative, and these are kind of cool.
I got to have it. That is just, it's hilarious.
Oh, wait till you go see the page where they sell them at.
Well, I'm going to make a post today, Snook, about that video. I want, out of that playlist that I played, one of those songs I want to do for your round 8 that is very creative, the bad karaoke. I hope I'm not too late for round 8. I know I missed the last round.
No, it's Wednesday. Wednesday midnight. Or Wednesday 11. Yeah, midnight by you.
Wednesday? Well, about one of those songs, I think I forget how many songs I had on that show I did Sunday. But I want to sing one of them, but I want suggestions from somebody which one to sing. I could sing any of them, and it would be just as bad. It's bad karaoke. It's all right.
Yeah, we need more entries.
Well, where are you at with the entries now?
I'd have to look. We did get Curie, though, this time.
Wow, Curie, a Hendrik de Groot vote. I've been there, honey, done that. Ooh, it felt so good.
Yeah, it was good. Well, this was the one that was from the music Curie.
Well, technically you have 2, because the only Curie I ever got was for the bad karaoke contest. You remember that? Was it the first one I ever entered? Where I made the... Yeah, that one got curied, you know.
That's right. That was awesome.
So you've been curied twice. You were curied by association.
Yes, I was.
So I threw a link in here, and of course the picture didn't come up. This is this your work, Lucky HG? Or Lucky 13? I'm just going to call you Lucky 13, if that's okay. This is really good. I wish I could draw like that. I love that little plover. Are you also a birder? But I like the way you've got the little baby there, and you showed us various different pieces of your work in this. Let's see, I'm going to pop up one of these pictures if it comes down. I'm glad my slow internet, which shouldn't be slow because we pay for high speed, isn't
What's up with Steemit?
Pardon?
My Steemit won't load.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. It's Steemit. Or you just haven't had time to sketch in over a week? It's hard when life gets in the way.
Damn life.
But these are really good. Oh, finding daycare now, that's something I'm glad I don't have to do anymore. I live in a city, so I wouldn't have a clue of who to ask. At least back in a small town, you know people.
A goddaughter was telling me yesterday that this time of year, with both of her boys out of school, would cost her $1,000 a week for daycare. That's insane.
Yeah, that'd be about right.
It is insane. And unfortunately, it's kind of a fight between, well, as a daycare provider, you want to get paid what you're worth because you're caring for the most precious things in people's lives. But as a parent, you can't afford to pay that in work. It's like chasing your tail.
Yeah.
Hi, Ingenuity.
Hey, Engine.
You're late again there, young man.
Storming here. My internet's pretty cruddy, so it still may pop in and out a few times. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Can you get on Steemit? Anybody?
Yeah,
I can.
it's slow, but I can get on.
I'm finding it really slow, too. Lucky 13 says it's been acting up, too.
There's my other creative thing for people. Well, they're not all Steemit links, but it's links we've been sharing, so I'm keeping up with it.
Oh, well, thanks, Dan. I almost called you Doc.
I don't want little sister to get jealous of big sister. Say, you get all the good stuff. You got a guy who goes in there and he helps you keep up with all these posts and everything, and I don't get anything.
I've never known Artemis to get jealous, so that would be new.
And it's
Oh, that'd be new, right? I have a little sister.
She's always been pretty good.
I don't usually get jealous, envious at times, but I think jealous means kind of like, oh, I hate that you got that. But no, and thanks, Sarge. I do appreciate it. But it's just a coffee hour. We're just chilling.
Yeah, but it's nice to have that though, because you can go back and without having to scroll up and everything. That's why I did it for shadows. It's just convenient to have. You know, you say, oh, what was that link? Where was that link? That so and so put up, and then you just go to Google with the doc, and there it is.
Actually, it's a great idea because you can say, "Oh no, what? How did they do those egg carton links?" And then go back and look.
I think I got all the links, so if you look at it and I miss something, let me know. I might have been looking at the wrong eye. You know, this happens at times.
So
yeah, you never know.
Maybe Aiden can tell us what this video's about that he uses for inspiration?
Yeah.
He's typing. Says he started working more in watercolor. You can come on voice, you know, Aiden.
Just a small.
Go ahead.
Oh, just a small speed paint of an illustration. They're a wonderful illustrator. I've always thought watercolors were really interesting. The way that they're so easy to blend and they're cheap. You can buy them at the dollar store. Oh, you only have 2 entries so far?
Yeah, but it actually just started on Wednesday, so I was off with the time, or Thursday.
Well, if I could get into the right bar this weekend, I could probably find lots of bad karaoke as they celebrate Canada Day.
Well, yes, but it had to be you singing it.
Oh, that ain't happening.
Right, exactly.
I don't believe I've ever got that drunk that I'm aware of. Artemis, can you substantiate that one way or the other?
Well, as drunk enough, I can't picture my sister actually singing, no matter how drunk, but she has said some very interesting things. At one point, I recall her asking if our hometown was part of Canada, and she yelled it off our back deck. She didn't receive many replies.
No, that was from the upstairs window, and somebody yelled from behind the town hall that no, it wasn't.
Oh, that's right. Funny story. Oh, go ahead.
We have found a Canadian patriot. Like, that is surprising. Once again, trying to take Captain Obvious's job. I'm going to tell you what, he's going to start flagging and downvoting me.
I have a funny story if you'd like a giggle. Talking about getting drunk and behind the town hall in Castleton. When my parents first moved to Castleton, the locals didn't realize, yes, we were buying a general store that had been in the same hands since it was built in the late 1700s, early 1800s. So we were, quote, outsiders. But my father's family had actually settled the land 12 miles north of Castleton and did it in a breeding like bunnies kind of way. So at Halloween, we used to have Molotov cocktails flying around, and there would be huge crowds of teenagers. Just, some of them would be shit disturbers, and most of them were just watching to see what was going to happen. So we had a friend named Mae Dunlop who ended up coincidentally marrying David Dingwall, who was part of the family that had owned our store. But she had this huge old black Tennessee Walker named Claude. And on Halloween, she would dress up in this beautiful cloak with a hood and a skull mask, and she looked like the Headless Horseman. Well, this one particular year, she chased someone out of our backyard on Claude in her costume and nailed him in behind the town hall. and I guess cornered him, and he got really, really scared and ran off. Many years later, I was talking to Terry, and he said, "My God, I couldn't believe it." He says, "I was on acid. I thought I was dead. The headless horseman had me in its grasp." Oh, that was funny. Oh my gosh. So, Andy, are you there?
It's awful quiet.
Hi, yeah, kind of. I couldn't hear you for a while there, but I'm back again now.
Oh, good. Then you didn't hear me goof up and say you were from Australia instead of New Zealand. Thank you.
Oh, yes, I heard that.
Oh, sorry.
I have good hearing then.
So what's new in New Zealand? Have you been doing any more drawing and painting?
Kind of. My mother's birthday's coming up in August, and I've started doing a drawing for her that I'd like to, frame and give to her. But I'm back to studying this week, and then I'm trying to start up a website, and I'm trying to promote products, and I've got all sorts of things going on, so I haven't really been doing too much, cutie, drawing at the moment.
I guess
Look at that little kiwi.
That's so cute. Do they have these kiwis in New Zealand?
Yeah, that's our bird.
What type of animal are they? Do they like being around water, or what are they?
No, they're like a bush bird. They live in the undergrowth in the sort of native bush.
Are they mostly bug eaters? I see that.
Little any of them left now with all the dogs and the cats and the possums and all the rats and that sort of thing. They eat the eggs and they eat the birds. And
oh, so these are considered a bird?
Oh, they're a bird. They're just a flightless bird.
Oh, wow. I had no idea. I always wondered what those were.
I love birds. I know a lot about birds. That's my alarm clock in the morning. About this time of year, 4:30 every morning, the birds wake me up. My friends, the little catbirds, they come out. They call them catbirds because the birds we have around here, the catbirds, they're black. They all look like they have a little toupee on. But the reason they call them a catbird is because their cry sounds like a cat meowing.
Yes, they do. When I was little, I used to think that there was a kitten lost in the little valley at the front of our home in Orono. And I would spend hours looking for this lost kitten. And years later, I figured out it was a catbird.
They're very funny. They're very funny and they're very smart because the catbirds here, my neighbor Wilbur, he goes up, we have a farm supply right up the road from us, less than a mile. And they sell, I live in a fairly rural area, so they sell hay and they sell, everything that you need, if you're a farmer and stuff. And he goes up there and he buys peanut hearts. And then he'll take the peanut hearts. And those birds know where those peanut hearts come from because they'll come up and they'll make their noise until he comes out. And of course, they'll fly away until he puts the peanut hearts out. And then they come back. But some of them, not quite all the way tame, but they're kind of brave because we don't bother them. So they'll get kind of close to us and stuff. They're very smart. I've always said that critters are like people, It's they're pretty neat.
What's a peanut heart?
It's like part of a peanut. I'm not sure exactly. I know they look like peanuts. Well, that's why I used to have an electric grinder, but I gave it to him because every morning I'd hear him over there. I don't know what the hell he was doing. I thought he was hammering on the friggin' wall, and come to find out he was crushing up these peanut hearts for the birds. So I took a coffee grinder over and gave it to him. I said, here, use this and grind them up, Because all that hammering in the mornings.
About a month ago, I was out along the trails. I think my first video that I ever posted was of me on that Hot Wheels scooter going down the trail to the grocery store. And it was along there that someone was walking a great big German Shepherd and let him off his leash, and he was a good dog. So we got talking, and then we heard this crazy rustling and weird sounds going on in the woods. So we went in there and looked up. I was always told that turkeys cannot fly, but this turkey was scared so terribly he must have been 20 feet up there on a branch. Couldn't believe it.
Oh, yeah, chickens can do the same thing. Chickens will get up, they'll roost up in trees if they ain't got nowhere else to roost. They'll jump up in a tree.
I think that wild turkey thought he was going to be a dog's dinner. So I had a great debate. I had this wonderful debate with my mother-in-law when I was up there last week about how turkeys cannot fly. And she tried to convince me it must have been a turkey vulture.
No, they can. I mean, they can't fly like distance, but if they want to get up somewhere, they can flap their wings and then get up. There was a chicken we had. It was a Rhode Island Red when I lived down in Lutherville. We had our chickens and our ducks and all our critters and stuff. And that Red, she would fly up and sit on my shoulder. She was heavy, but that's what she liked to do. She would always, whenever I go out, right there on my shoulder. So I made sure that I didn't wear anything good when I went out there to feed them.
Well, you know, they say if you get pooped on by a bird, it's supposed to be good luck. What's this you put up, Snook?
Well, it's your sister's fault. It's actually my new
Shadows
favorite.
Pub again.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the chia seeds, but they say in here to use milk. Well, I used it with yogurt, and it's really good. And the chia seeds have omega-3s in it, plus fiber, but it doesn't taste like fiber. And then it has protein.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah, it's like, and it's filling, so it's my breakfast now.
I like that idea.
And I got strawberry yogurt, you know, one of those big tubs of the generic kind. So
Oh, neat.
I just wanted to share because it was like really, it's really good and really filling. And I usually don't eat breakfast, so it's got me to eat breakfast.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. I'm a big breakfast person. I don't care if I eat the rest of the day as long as I have breakfast.
Yeah, I still have tea and toast normally for breakfast. Sometimes I'll make some cream of wheat. I love cream of wheat.
I do too, but I'm usually so tired in the morning that actually making something is not, you know, I don't. So this
Yeah,
is
I'm the opposite. I'm a morning person. Takes me by about, I don't know, about this time of the day to start getting miserable. About a little afternoon. But in the morning, I'm normally pretty happy. I jump up, 4:30, 5 o'clock. As soon as I wake up, I don't lay there. I get up and I start moving.
Oh, Jan says that being shit on by a bird isn't good luck. It's just that you miss the bad luck by not looking up.
That's pretty good.
I remember young Apollo, my grandson's first outing. He was, it wasn't his first outing. It was his first spring outing. He was born in January, and the weather started turning really nice. So we decided we'd all pile in the van and take the baby over to Springbank Park. He was like 2 or 3 months old. And Springbank Park, if you've ever been to London, is beautiful. It's full of trees and playgrounds, and the river goes through it. It's just gorgeous. So we all sat down and we decided we started unpacking our lunch, and he's on the table in his baby seat. And some little kid had come running along and scared a group of geese that were not very far from us. So I'm kind of hoping that being pooped on is good luck because my grandson got well pelted.
Holy cow.
Yeah, the good thing there was a blanket over him.
When my son was born, I was in 1988, and it was the year of the drought down here. And it was, I don't think it got below 80 degrees. And my car didn't have air conditioning. And you'd have to put him in the car seat. And then it was horrible.
Yeah, babies really feel the heat the worst, don't they? And they get that prickly little heat rash all over them, poor things.
And he's a morning person, Sarge. He would wake up every morning about 4:30.
4:30, and then was he up for the day?
He was up for about 2.5 hours, and then he'd finally take a nap. And then he was up for the rest of the day, yes.
Oh my gosh.
I've never slept a lot in my life. While in the service, I used to be a cat napper.
He would wake.
I'd sleep 4 hours and get up, and then throughout the day, I just take cat naps. You know what I mean? You're not quite asleep, but you're not quite awake either.
I worked with a guy that was in the Vietnam War, and I worked in a place that had a dark room, and you'd walk in there, and he'd be up against a wall, sleeping, but with his eyes open. And it would scare the poop out of you.
Oh my gosh. My daughter would just wander away. Around 7 o'clock, if I hadn't put her in bed by 7:30, she'd be missing. And she'd find a corner and she'd just lay down and go to sleep.
Yeah, then you had your son.
Well, when I was a kid, I was a sleepwalker. I don't know if they consider that and I used to do it all the time. My foster parents, they would find me out in the road, asleep in the road. I slept walked for years, that was one of the waivers I had to get when I went in the Marine Corps. The Army wouldn't have me when I was totally truthful on all the questions. They said, "You're 4F, you got crazy eyes, you're a sleepwalker, and your right arm's all messed up." Because my right arm, when I was a little boy, I was about 5 years old. It was before I got put in foster care. You remember the old ringer washers?
Oh,
the electric one that had the ringer? Well, my arm got caught in there. Well, first my fingers got caught, and then my whole arm, and it was locked down. And it did a lot of damage, a lot of nerve damage, because I was home alone, and I pulled out, and it ripped the skin, and a lot of nerve damage. To this day, I have to be careful if I'm, smaller bolts and stuff. And when I was working as a mechanic for United Rentals, I always had to use my left hand to tighten bolts and stuff because I'd wring them right off because of the nerve damage in my hand. I don't feel much. So, but anyway, all that stuff. That's how I ended up in the Marine Corps. The Army wouldn't have me, so I ended up in the Marine. It's a true story. Really. I started in the reserves, but they wouldn't take me active duty. I wanted to be a Green Beret. So they took me in the Marine Corps. I'll never forget what that gunnery sergeant said. Blind, crippled, crazy, we take them all.
I guess they figured you'd work harder.
I did. I didn't think I'd ever make it through Marine Basic. Back then, I had a very thick skin because, I was made fun of when I was a kid. I was born with this condition with my eyes. The glaucoma, of course, came years later as I got older, which I never noticed because I never went to the eye doctor. My glasses are like 10, 15 years old. and taped together because I'd sit on them all the time. But, never knew, that I lost the sight because it's gradual. When you get glaucoma, if you don't get checked regular, it just creeps up on you and you don't notice it. I just thought I was getting old and clumsy.
Oh, wow. Andy, I have to ask you about your piggy, Jaffa, or Mrs. Pig. What a cute pig. But what I want to ask is, how come farm animals get the rings in their noses?
Oh, well, she got her jewelry because she digs up the paddock. Like, she's like a plough. So what pigs do when they eat, they dig up the grass, they turn it over and they eat the roots of the grass. So they just go along and ruin the ground everywhere they go. And like, she turned up near on a whole paddock in a day.
Oh my gosh.
And they just do incredible damage. So I got the vet out and he gave her some jewelry.
So the ring basically stops her from doing that because it hurts if she gets
it
plugging
hurts,
around?
It hurts. It prevents them from digging the soil. She can eat the grass, which I'm quite happy for her to do that, but she can't dig it up.
What type of pig is she?
She's a Duroc Tamworth large white.
She's really pretty. She's very different.
She's a lovely pig actually. I've always had a fascination with pigs ever since I started having them, which was years and years ago. They are the most intelligent beings. They really are. They're very, very social, so they like company. And watching them eat is amazing because if you give them a variety of food, they push everything out the way and they eat the things that they like the most first, and then it goes down in likableness. So they leave the things that they like the least till the last, and that's quite fascinating to watch them.
Do you find that they escape fairly quickly if you don't have everything latched up tight?
Yes, and I'll post videos soon when I get the babies get bigger because they they are the funniest things to watch. They really are. They're like a little escape artists, and they get everywhere.
I remember when I was a kid, the McKeggs had a huge pig farm. They had I don't know what type they were, but they were big, and they had very white coats, and you could see the pink of their skin can show through very prominently.
Mm.
And I went over to Darcy's place one day to visit. There was a bunch of us that went out there. Oh, that's cute, Sarge. But we had taken our lunches from school with us, things that we hadn't eaten. And there was one pig in particular. We were sitting near the fence, and we didn't notice, but that little bugger dug himself a tiny little hole under the fence and started pulling our packs in under the fence. And he pulled Adam Brown's right in there, and he actually got it open. It was a backpack, and he found the food, and he ate it.
Yep, they will find food. Wherever they go, they find food.
Well, they say pigs are very, very smart animals.
Oh, they are, sure. They really are.
But that's, we got to take that with a grain of salt because that's what humans say about pigs. I wonder if they speak amongst themselves so well of us.
No. Mind you, I think Mrs. Pig likes me.
Oh my God,
that's just so wrong.
That is so wrong on so many levels.
Don't you like your little pink butt?
Well, not with it just adds, I don't know what to, that'll get me to say hi to In-N-Out in the morning. And then come back and look at the page.
I think maybe on that note, we should end the recording. What do you think, Shabbos?
So we stopped talking about pig butts on air.
Well, it's not the talking, it's the seeing.
Well, that picture didn't get on air.
Oh, okay.
We need to type more and get rid of it.
Hi, Ivan. Okay, so on that note, I think maybe I'll thank you guys for coming, and I've had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. And this was the Creatives Coffee Hour, hosted by Artemis North and Shadows Cub. Have a great day.